Hello, I'm David. This is the first of hopefully many videos where I showcase the progress on a dream video game project I've been trying to do for a long time. Being honest, I was kind of hesitant of doing these kind of videos because my recording and video editing skills are not the best. But I thought that maybe this is a great opportunity to keep a log of all the progress I'm doing in the game. So hopefully that will keep me motivated in the long road ahead. And as a bonus, I can show the game to other people and maybe get some feedback too. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a game programmer working on AAA games as a full-time job. And I've been in the industry for about 6 years now, specializing on AI development. And I know what you might be thinking, David. If you're working in game dev full-time, why the heck would you want to continue doing that on your spare time? And the answer is simple. I simply love making games. Since I was a kid, I always wanted to make my own games. And even though I am able to work on some amazing AAA projects with massive budgets, I always wanted to make something of my own. A game that I would enjoy playing. And also a way of challenging myself to see if I'm capable of building something from the ground up. I know a lot of people do this for the money or because they want to get viral on the social media, but in my case, I just do it because I'm passionate about it and I just want to see how far I can get. But hey, I'm not saying I don't want the project to be successful, I really hope it does. But at least if it doesn't, I've proven myself that I'm capable of doing it. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about the project. So going back a little bit, when I was 10 years old or so, my parents got me my first video game console, a Game Boy Advance. And needless to say, I was instantly hooked. I was able to get my hands on some of the classics like Pokemon, Super Mario and whatnot, and they were great. However, the ones that I ended up spending most of my time were not so mainstream, at least not compared to the big boys. Games such as Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, Advance Wars. I spent hundreds if not thousands of hours playing them over and over and I never grew tired of them. But don't get me wrong, as a 10 years old I was pretty bad at those games. But even though I didn't understand half of the mechanics and the story, there was something that kept me playing all those hours. Maybe it was the pixel art style, the RPG genre, the strategy, or maybe a combination of all of them. So I decided to replay the games once again, but this time with pen and paper, trying to find out what made those games so good in the first place. But most importantly, what was the reason behind me spending so many hours when I was a child? I will spare you with all the details, but I came up with a couple of points which I think stood up the most while playing those games. The first is the progression system. This is one, if not the most important game mechanics in the game that kept me playing for so many hours. Being able to see how your character progresses over time, the more effort you put into them, either via leveling up, gearing up, learning new abilities or others. I think this is one of the pillars of RPG games that once you've done it right, it will carry the game quite far. Another important point is the character roles. Being able to try different fighting styles depending on your character specialization, things like classes or jobs. This makes the game more diverse and encourages you to try them all to see what each one of them can do, and most likely to figure out which one is the strongest. Another part is the story. This is one of the core parts of a video game. If a story manages to make you feel connected with a character, and maybe it sounds weird, but feel you a little bit disconnected from reality for a while, just the same way that happens when you watch a good movie. And the last point is music. This may not sound as important as the other points, but believe me, you can tell when a game has good music in it. During tough fights, a good music in the background can pump you up and make you feel excited and engaged in the situation. Many times while I was playing those games, I found myself just not doing anything, just listening to the soundtrack in the background while I was thinking of what my next move was going to be. So after some consideration, I decided that my game project is going to be a 2D isometric turn-based RPG, with some elements such as progression, classes, gear, abilities, quests, and all the typical elements you find on a classic RPG. I'm obviously influenced by my favorite childhood games, and I'm hoping I honor them by making this project as good as them. Now, this of course will come with many challenges, I'm aware that there will be ups and downs, moments where I would want to pull my hair out and cry in a corner, but hey, this is part of the solo game dev experience. If somebody tells you that making games is easy, they are lying bastards and they want to make you suffer. It is indeed a very hard thing to do, and most of the times you will leave empty-handed. I'm not saying nobody should try that, after all I'm about to do this myself, but one has to be realistic with this kind of projects. A game dev project can take many years to be completed, and it needs an ungodly amount of willpower to make it until the end. So kudos to all those indie devs that are working day and night on their projects. You have all my respect. Before wrapping this video up, I would like to talk about the million-dollar question regarding every game dev project. What engine I'm going to use to develop this game? And that's going to be Unreal Engine 5. And hold on before you jump into my neck trying to say that Unreal Engine 5 is not for making 2D games. I'm aware that some of the tools that Unreal provides are not fully developed yet, and maybe they will never. And there are other engines that have better features for this kind of project. However, there are some plugins that can ease up the process. Things such as Paper 2D that handles tile maps, tile sets, sprites and collisions, and Paper ZD that handles animation state machines and animation events. If we add this up with other Unreal features that come out of the box, such as lighting, blueprint, multi-platform support, Steam support, and many other stuff, and on top of that, considering that I have been working with Unreal for many years as a full-time game dev, I think this is a wise choice for me. I understand that the game engine is not perfect and I will most likely have to develop some tools on the go for the project. Funnily enough, I'm already working on some tools for the project, which I will probably show on the next devlog. In any case, it's part of the process, so I'm happy with it. Anyways, this is it for this devlog. I hope you are as excited as me about starting this journey. Please write down on the comments below if you have any suggestions or feedback. I would appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.